Israeli airstrikes flattened 3 apartment buildings in Gaza City. There aren't rescue crews to speak of in Gaza, so when the poorly equipped teams arrived, they had to dig for survivors however they could. They pulled dozens out still alive, trapped in the rubble for hours. But they found more than 40 dead, including, health officials say, 24 women and children.
Part of Richard Engel's report for NBC Nightly News last night, and joining us now, senior advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Mark Regev. He is former Israeli ambassador to the UK. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks so much for being with us, Mr. Regev. Let me ask you the same question I asked the ambassador. Does Israel support a ceasefire right now?
Well, we hopefully soon, but not just yet. Ultimately, they can't have a situation where Hamas fires rockets at Israeli civilians, as you said, close to 3,000. And then that they just, when we start hitting back, they say, oh, we want protection from the United Nations, we want a ceasefire. No, we have to come out of this operation with a sustained period of peace and quiet. That's good for Israelis, that's good for Palestinians. We don't want a Band-Aid solution, which just is a prescription for further problems.
Yeah, Mr. Regev, I had quoted to the ambassador the New York Times conclusion that Hamas has likely committed war crimes. I'm sure you've seen the same article this morning where the Times also says Israel has subjected Gaza to such an intense bombardment, killing families and flattening buildings, that it probably constitutes a disproportionate use of force, also a war crime. And the Times article says at least 197 Palestinians, including 92 women and children, have been killed. What is the end game here? What does another week of bombing where civilians die disproportionately on the Palestinian side, but also in Israel, what is to be gained by this continued fighting?
Well, we didn't want this conflict. On the contrary, we took a number of steps exactly a week ago before this erupted to try to de-escalate, steps that the U.S. government praised us for. But unfortunately, Hamas was hell-bent on initiating this conflict. Now, in attacking Hamas's military machine, we're trying to be as surgical as is humanly possible in a very complicated, complex combat environment. We're taking every care to try to avoid any sort of civilian casualties. We don't want to see people caught up in the crossfire between us and Hamas. But it's very difficult because Hamas, while it's targeting the Israeli civilian population, and as you've seen, volley after volley of rockets on Israeli cities, they're trying, of course, to murder our people. Families across Israel, including my own, have had to run to bomb shelters in the middle of the night because our cities have been bombarded continuously. So we're trying to protect ourselves. At the same time, we're doing a maximum effort, really a maximum effort, using the best technology we have to try to be as surgical as is humanly possible in a very complex combat situation. We don't want to see Palestinian casualties of the uninvolved, of innocent civilians. They are not our enemy. The people of Gaza are not our enemy. Our enemy is this brutal terrorist movement that's trying to kill our people.
Mr. Regev, the Associated Press had breaking news this morning. It says our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, has not seen any evidence that puts Hamas leadership in the Gaza building where the AP offices were destroyed and Al Jazeera's offices were destroyed. He said he has not seen any evidence. He has asked for that evidence. Do you have evidence? Does your government have evidence that the Secretary of State can see that will confirm that Hamas was in fact working out of that building?
100% yes. I've seen the evidence myself. It is classified. It was even classified, I can tell you, top secret. But I've seen that evidence. We have passed it through the intelligence services channels between Israel and the United States. And as you know, we have a very close intelligence partnership. And I'm sure all the relevant officials in the U.S. government will be seeing that information, that intelligence shortly.
Professor Eddie Glaude is with us and has a question. Eddie.
Mr. Regev, let me ask you this question. How would you respond to the claim that the occupation, the blockade of Gaza, the mainstreaming of far-right extremism in Israeli politics and the settlement policies is at the heart of this current conflagration? How would you respond to those sorts of arguments?
I would say that, of course, we want to solve our problem with the Palestinians. Of course, we want to see peace. Of course, we'd like to be out of this conflict and in a different place. We've got a problem, and that problem is Hamas. Hamas is internationally recognized as a terrorist organization, not only by the United States and Israel, but by the European Union, Canada, Japan, Australia, even across the Arab world. Arab governments designate Hamas a terrorist organization. And they are committed in their charter and in their policy to destroying the state of Israel. For them, every Israeli civilian, man, woman, and child, is a legitimate target, as we see this week in their attacks. I'd remind you that when the peace process was moving ahead very aggressively during the period of Oslo, then Hamas launched a huge wave of suicide bombings against Israeli civilians. And today, when the peace process has been a bit stuck, so they're again shooting rockets. You have to understand, Hamas is not interested in peace. Hamas is the enemy of everyone who wants to see peace and reconciliation in the Middle East. Everyone who wants to see peace should be supporting Israel. It's important Hamas is defeated and they come out of this operation much weakened and in a situation where they can't dictate the reality, not to Palestinians and not to Israel.
Mr. Regev, it's John Fleming at the Associated Press. The Palestinian ambassador who was just on before you said he welcomed international intervention here, the European leaders, the U.S. leaders, the international community to come and sort of broker some sort of ceasefire here. Does Israel have that same wish if the United Nations Security Council were to call for it, if President Biden were to do so? Would there be interest from the Prime Minister and Israel to have that sort of meeting, to have that ceasefire?
Well, first of all, the guest on before me was my former colleague. We were both stationed in London, and I was disappointed, though not surprised, that he refused to condemn the missile fire by Hamas into Israel, the targeting of our innocent population, the deliberate attempt to murder civilians. This is a democratic society defending itself against a ruthless terrorist organization. To the specifics of your question, we want to see this end. We want to see it end soon. But as I said a moment ago, a Band-Aid solution that just takes us back to square one is only a prescription for further violence down the line. We want to be able to come out of this crisis, this terrible crisis, with a situation where the Israeli public in Israel does not have to live in fear, in constant fear, of an incoming rocket fired by the terrorists in Gaza. Now, we are concerned that a premature artificial Band-Aid solution will just give Hamas time to regroup, rest, recuperate, and then we have missiles on Tel Aviv next week or next month. That doesn't solve anything. We're looking for a real solution.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.